Hi.
Good evening,
Oh, good
Paula.
evening.
How are you?
Fine, fine.
Paula didn't join. I was waiting for permitting me inside. So
Okay.
I got delayed because someone had to let me in. Paula
Oh,
didn't join. Or
no.
okay, let me check whether. Let me check with Priya to check with Paula. 2 minutes.
Okay. Digi sono da Italia. Achọrọ m isi ala digi eso ha jee kọntaktị ya. Digi amazadị ha. Ọ sị na ọ nọ in a meeting. O nwere IT problem ihe ọrụ aka. Ekabi tiketi o tiketi ọ. The man klaasị ya agwụwagoro. Mụ na the man na-arụ ọsịsọ ka ọ na. Ọ ga maka quiz a ha na-eme na klaasị bụ klaasị quiz. Hmm. Galọn enwere m galọn beans na-abịanụ.
Gallon beans.
25 liters. No more.
I carry that.
No more this kind of power.
Okay, if we, can we start now? I think I'm let Paula join when can before that we can start. Are you okay?
Okay.
Can we start?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. What I'll do is there is some part that quiz part left over for solution evaluation. That case study and quiz. This we'll do tomorrow when Paula also joins. If she is
Uh,
not there today, we'll leave it at this stage. And we'll get into agile perspective. So the next topic that we need to do is agile perspective. How we view these things, the business analysis in agile perspective. That's important. Agile perspective, basically, agile, you know what is agile?
no.
Agile is a methodology for development of any project. For any project execution, agile methodology is a methodology which is used. So, what is agile methodology is if you look at waterfall methodology or predictive methodology, where we say everything should be defined in the beginning. So full documentation, sign offs, everything we take, we ensure that the requirements will not change because otherwise it will be very complicated. That's how we start the project. But later what happened is though project from software side or the project executor side, it will be easy, okay to say that no more changes. But from the customer perspective, it is very difficult. Suppose you are building your house. So now when you are constructing your house, if builder says whatever plan you do in the beginning, you cannot change, then it becomes very difficult for you if you are building your own house and you are building independent, which is not a flat. But in flats, what they do, the builder cannot accept. Suppose I am staying in a say area place, uh, the where we have almost 2,500 flats. If they have, if the builder has to accept everybody's requirement, then they cannot build so many flats. So they give the design, they build it, and then whatever you want to do inside is your choice. But for from the periphery, how the flat looks, they will not change. The same, but if you are building your own house, independent house, and you have given it to some builder, so then you cannot say, they cannot say, you cannot ask for change because initially you may not have all ideas. As you progress, you get okay, this wall cannot be here, this wardrobe cannot be here, or this door cannot be here. All such changes will come. So that is what is, if those changes as you go progressively, if changes or requirements are changing, that is accepted. If that is accepted, it is called agile methodology. Agile methodology is where You allow changes to happen. You welcome changes. But in predictive methodology, you reject change. You don't welcome. It's not you reject. You don't welcome changes. Changes will be complicated in waterfall methodology. So that's how it starts. Now, agile perspective, if you have to do business analysis, how do you do? Describe as an agile business analysis, identify change scope, define business analysis scope, list the approaches and techniques, identify underlying competencies, assess the impact on knowledge areas. So that's how you look at agile perspective. That is first agile. What is agile is very important. Agile is a flexible mindset which embodies agile values and exhibits complementary practices. Complementary practices basically means, so what customer needs, they will be helping you and you will be helping the customer. See, customer will not be very rigid in financials and other things. If customer says, I can't pay you more, whatever is fixed, so then your requirement also should be fixed. If customer is flexible, you can also be flexible. That's how it is. If you are building a house for a customer, so then if customer keeps changing the requirements, the cost also changes. So when you are flexible, when customer is flexible, you can also be flexible, and it is complementary work or collaborative work. Now, business analyst with sponsor as a proxy stakeholder are working with a sponsor. You are working with either to a proxy, somebody who knows the customer well, and somebody is representing the customer either with them, or you are working with the sponsor directly. So business analyst will be working with them so that as you progress, you get the requirements properly, and will not have confusion. We will be trying to meet customers' requirements as much as possible. It's not like every moment anything that customer says I can't do it. So that mindset will not be there in Agile. Now, makes information available at the right level of detail and at the right time. Now, continuous work relying on communication, facilitating, coaching, negotiation. In Agile, what happens is like when you are doing the house construction also, the guy who is building your house, he should be able to tell what is right or wrong. Because you keep asking lot of changes, but the guy who is doing the job, if he knows his job, he will tell what is right and what is the way that you should think, and he will negotiate and he'll make it better for you. So you will get the value add. So that's how Agile methodology works. Now change scope. So basically what happens earlier, as I said, scope changes, you are limiting in the original, what is that, our predictive approach. Here what happens, what is the change? To define the alignment of proposed feature with strategic objectives and expectation change and rapid response to change. Any changes that customer asks, so you should be able to immediately adapt that, and you should align to that. It's not like entire building is over, somebody asks you to scrap it and do it. They may be asking some small changes. You should talk to them, understand what they are asking, and immediately you should adapt. You should mold to that requirement. So that is important. If you don't accept the change, you cannot proceed, and things will not happen in a proper way. So at any point in time, if changes are requested, you should be able to respond to that properly, and you should accept if it is whatever is the scope within that scope, or sometimes it may exceed the scope also. Customer also should be flexible for the overall time and the budget side. So if they are flexible, you can as well proceed. Change the team and stakeholders. Decompose product vision to smaller prioritized tasks. When there are all that you need to do every time, you should prioritize tasks. What is important first to be done, what can be done later. Sometimes what happens is when we were doing our interior in our flat, the interior guy was telling, sir, kitchen we'll take it later because you will have lot of requirements, a lot of changes you will be getting in kitchen. You decide what exactly you want, then we'll take it up. All other things I keep doing. So when he was doing other things, we have finalized our kitchen requirements. Something like that, it will work out. You are with me, Ify?
Yes, I'm with you.
So I think my building examples are going well for you. So you are able to understand, no?
Yes.
Okay, so right. Now, change, what is change scope? Because in this case, when you are talking about agile, the scope gets constantly evolved. It's not
Okay.
like in the beginning itself you are fixing. So that is constantly evolved. And delivery of incremental changes, any changes that come, instead of, like what I said, instead of doing everything in the flat interiors all together and manufacturing that, fabricating that somewhere, and then coming and fitting it. Our interior guy was doing hall, bedrooms, and all the wardrobes, everything. So he fixed that as we decided the kitchen requirements. So something like that. It progressively it evolves and incremental changes. Like they keep doing small changes and they'll tell you whether it is okay or not. When we say okay, go ahead, they'll complete the changes. So that's how it works. So you are flexible. Now, prioritized work commitment for one iteration only. In Agile, what happens is delivery will not happen everything together. It will not happen. It will be like every sprint they call. So every say 15 days, what I'm going to do. If I look at, and for that, what is required, what is the prioritization of work, that will be done. Continuous exploration to develop requirements. So that is what is important. It's not like rigid. Requirements will also come as you progress. So, where are the agile principles applied? Where do you apply agile principles? Agile principles are basically flexible principles. Where do you apply? Challenging and unknown emerging business needs. Like what I said, if you have to do your interiors, you will not have clear idea unless you sit and make drawings where you will not have time and you cannot do all those drawings. So some people will do design on the drawing board and finalize and then do the development. That is one way of doing it. So majority of people will not have that much of time and patience to do drawing. So they say, okay, you suggest what you have to do, start, and then as we require changes, you can take it up. So that will have some time and budget pressures will be there. So if you are comfortable with that, you can go. Otherwise, if you know everything, you can do design and give it to them, ask them to give the budget, and within that budget, that fellow can complete and go. So in agile methodology, because the business needs are challenging, so that is the area that you pick up agile methodology where it will be flexible. Business need or proposed solution is complex. When the business need and proposed solution is very complex, also you use agile methodology. And commitment from customer on regular engagement is there, then also you can use agile principles. Now, breadth of change and depth of change also to be considered when you are doing using agile principles. If changes are too many, and then how to accept, and if the depth of the change, the kind of change that they are asking also is too high, you have to look at agile principles. Right, value and solutions, rapid and flexible response to change. Now, adaptive planning focused on continuous improvement, ongoing review and feedback of work, transparency in all communication to align efforts and business needs. Solution evolves over a period of time. As I said, as you go along, the solution evolves. Now, what are the other major assumptions for using agile methodology? Changing requirements are welcome anytime. So that's what I was mentioning. Business needs can be met using technology and process change. Initiatives have fully engaged the customers and SMEs, customers and subject matter expert. You will fully engage. So that is the assumption. Team members are constant, empowered, and self-organizing. Team members, each member is self-organized. So, like if you are doing interior, the carpenters will be there, painters will be there. So they should be doing their job on their own. Now, team members have a mindset of improvements and have multiple roles. Team, whoever is the team member, they should come up with doing things much better. It's not like you tell, I'll do. So majority of cases, people will be like, you tell, I do. You tell, I do case, agile methodology may not work that much. So there is a preference for multidisciplinary and co-located teams. So naturally, if co-located teams are there, we all team members are together, they can discuss fast. If it is multidisciplinary, because even if, like what I said, some carpenter can be there, painter can be there, and plumber can be there, electrician can be there. So all can discuss together and complete the job better. So that's how you look at. Even if you look at software, you will have testers, you will have developers, you will have business analysts. All will be available together, co-located, so that things can be discussed much faster. Any questions, Ifi?
No.
Okay, this is a perspective, so no need to worry. Business analysis in the how you do from agile perspective. For that only we are looking at who are the primary change agents. It can be agile team lead, yeah, stakeholders, external stakeholders, product owners, and team members. So these are all primary change agents. And sponsor is important. Sponsor is there at every place. For sponsor giving. Sponsor is the one who owns that project and who pays for that project. So that sponsor should be continuously informed so that they can take decisions and allow the project to go successful. Now, change targets, agile mindset and atmosphere must be in place. Agile projects are organized around smaller agile teams. Small teams take a decision. Agile projects are smaller teams will take decisions. Smaller team will do much better job. It's not like if it is a big team and known, because I have the moment you are saying agile, what happens? Requirements keep changing. Now, if entire team starts working together, giving the requirements become very difficult. So agile teams always are smaller teams and more effective teams. Position of a business analyst in agile, no specific role, but agile methodologies perform business analysis. So business analysts may not have a specific role, but business analysis, because requirements keep evolving. It's not like you collect all the requirements in the beginning. Requirements keep evolving. So for the business analyst. Now, business analysis activities, business analysts can do, customer and product owner can come up with the requirements, and one or more members having business analysis skills as team members. So anybody can become do the business analysis activities. It's not like business analyst alone needs to do all the requirement documentation. By even in the agile, what happens is you don't do documentation like what you do in predictive, where you try to rely on documentation alone. In predictive, you rely on documentation alone because everything has to be documented and signed off before the project starts. But in agile case, just-in-time documentations will be there. Very minimal documentation, more informal way you start doing things. Now, business analysis outcomes, if you look at project vision, should be project goals. Whatever is the project vision, organization goals, whatever organization is thinking, that should become project vision. It cannot be project vision is something and organization goals are something. So both should align. That's important. Define acceptance criteria. So that is for business analysis. Normally, whenever you are delivering something, what are the acceptance criteria? That is very important. Documentation should be just in time, just enough documentation. You can't overdo the documentation. Don't waste your time in overdoing, because things keep changing. It will not be constant. Documents to provide optimum value. So that's how we look at business analysis outcomes from agile perspective. What are the approaches and techniques? You can have Scrum. Scrum is what we said, every Scrum will have sprint meeting, sprints. sprint, like couple of weeks development happens. Every day you will have 15 minutes meeting. There will be a scrum master. So all that is Scrum methodology. Extreme programming is instead of one programmer doing the job, so there'll be pair programming. Two persons will do together so that mistakes will not happen. Kanban is you put all tasks in buckets. That is what is called Kanban technology. Kanban is you will put you suppose you got the post-it slips will be there. No, you write your tasks in them. One you put one bucket as to be done, one bucket as in progress, one bucket as completed. So you keep changing these cards from one to the other as tasks are completed. So that is called Kanban. Feature-driven development, because you go by one feature and you develop it. Dynamic system development method, that's what we said. As system keeps evolving, you get more requirements and you develop it. And crystal clear, that is basically in the beginning itself, you have got all the clarity, you develop according to the design, no changes. Disciplined agile delivery. So like agile delivery, disciplined agile delivery is more, you have more flexibility, more evolved methodology, which is called disciplined agile delivery. And scaled agile framework, SAFe. This is another methodology for doing agile deliveries. Evolutionary project management. Evolutionary, as I said, as you progress, it keeps developing. So these are the agile approaches. You got it, Ify? Any questions? These are different
Yeah.
methodologies. No need to be very detailed in this. As you go along, you can understand. Okay. So we discussed these points. Let me progress. Now, agile techniques, you can see here multiple techniques. Purpose alignment model, planning workshop, value stream mapping. Value stream is whatever gives value to the customer. Kano analysis. Kano analysis is a Japanese guy called Kano. He has developed because what is the customer's satisfaction? I'll show you one. So this kind of a thing is called Kano analysis. Threshold attributes must basic features. So now if you see customer satisfaction versus product function. If product function is not implemented, customer satisfaction is low. As you go on implementing product function, if it is fully implemented, that time what is happening is customer is not very happy with that full feature. So sometimes initially certain features will give excitement. So it is growing. Certain features, even if you implement, they don't get much satisfaction. So you should know that difference. So that's what it is. Threshold attributes, that is must-have features. Performance attributes, that is certain features which are satisfying. So customer is okay with those features. And excitement attributes, certain features people will be very happy to see, like mobile apps and all. So you see suddenly messages coming in mobile. So you'll be excited with that. And certain features like indifferent attributes, certain features like if you are sending SMS continuously, people will get bored. They will not see at all. So instead of being happy, they get frustrated with some attributes. That is reverse attributes. So you should know that, and you should basically classify your requirements in that fashion. So based on that, you will be able to take a decision which one you have to do first. Clear? Hello? If you are there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There is another thing called MOSCO. I have already told about MOSCO prioritization. Right? You remember this? Must, should, could, would not. So that is MOSCO prioritization. When any requirement which you say must, that requirement should be addressed. Should means it is next level priority. Could is like if it is there, it's okay. Now, would not means you're not going to take up. That's not very important. That's how it is. Now, personas, I have explained last time. So if you know who is the user, it's fine. If you don't know, you can put imaginary user. So that is called persona, imaginary person. Suppose there is a frustrated patient who is waiting at the billing counter. So that is an imaginary use case. So the person has come, he is frustrated, he cannot wait. So what would be his requirements, and how you have to react, how system should cater to that. So that's how it is. Real options, relative estimation, and story relative estimation is, pretty well earlier you have seen. So based on that, you can just put the estimation. So if you know, how per square feet how much it costs, you will be able to tell. Based on the square feet, you can tell how much it costs for the total building. So the same way, relative estimation you do. Story decomposition, if you know all the requirements, you are decomposing them. So whatever customer wanted, customer requirements, you are decomposing so that they can become deliverables. Story mapping, for each story, how many requirements are there, you map it. So the same way, storyboarding also, you put the story, and for that story, when you are going to deliver all the details, if you are putting, that is called storyboarding. And we discussed about lightweight documentation. You don't do heavy documentation in Agile. It will be lightweight. Whenever it is required, you document it. Behavior driven development. Depending on the stakeholder requirement, you are developing it. It is more to do with the behavior driven development. It's not like rigid at one time you do. And retrospective. So as you progress, you will check back where things are going right, where things are not going right. So that is called retrospective. Business analysts use techniques to elicit, analyze, document, prioritize, estimate, and manage business analysis information in agile approaches. So you use techniques to elicit, analyze, document, prioritize, estimate, and manage business analysis requirements information in agile approach. So that's what is these are the techniques that we use for business analysis. Okay, we discussed these points. Now, what are the underlying competencies for business analysts in agile? So it is like communication and collaboration, as we discussed. That is very, very important. And patience and tolerance, because customer keep asking changes, you cannot be frustrated. You have to be patient. And continuous improvement. So you keep making changes such that things are improving continuously. And ability to recognize the business value, and flexibility and adaptability. So you should be flexible and you should quickly adapt to change. Ability to handle changes. So those are the competencies that business analyst requires. So if you look at these knowledge areas, so overall, when you see business analysis, planning, and monitoring, as you see, so potential value is one end of the spectrum, and actual value is the another end of the spectrum. You can see business analysis and planning, elicitation and collaboration as top knowledge areas, and you can see here requirement lifecycle management. Under these perspectives, you have potential value you get based on the strategy analysis and requirement analysis and design definition. Once you understand that, with business analysis, planning and monitoring, and elicitation and collaboration, and requirement lifecycle management, how you want to start and end the requirement. Now, based on that, you will be giving the solution, and that solution evaluation you do to understand what is the actual value delivered, from potential value to actual value. Have you understood this? You see the knowledge areas. Business analysis, planning, and monitoring is the first knowledge area. Elicitation and collaboration is another knowledge area. Requirement lifecycle management is another knowledge area. So these are the layers. These are the layers under which now if you see the spectrum, strategy analysis is to identify the potential value. And from the potential value, from that you are getting this requirement analysis and design. From there you are giving the solution, and you evaluate the solution to see what is the actual value. So potential value to actual value is what you are transforming. Potential value is what you when you do the strategy analysis, or when stakeholder comes up with that there is a need for the change. So stakeholder looks at the potential value. So stakeholder mentions the potential value. So with that potential value, you are trying to get you give the solution. With that solution, you are evaluating it to find out what is the actual value. Got it? So let us go through each knowledge area with agile perspective. Business analysis, planning, and tasks. Here you see plan business. So business analysis planning area. In that business analysis, planning, and monitoring knowledge area, you are seeing these are the tasks. What are the tasks? Plan business analysis approach, plan stakeholder engagement, plan business analysis governance, plan business analysis information management, identify business analysis performance improvements. So these are the tasks, and output will be used as key inputs for other tasks. So these are the tasks that you plan. Once you plan this will be used for other knowledge areas as input. Okay. So business analyst performs these tasks in collaboration with stakeholder. Are you with me?
Yes.
So this is the knowledge. See, if we go through these 6 knowledge areas from agile perspective, that's what we are looking at. Okay. Now, if you look at this, the plan gets updated prior to starting of each cycle to account for changes. Stakeholder involvement and engagement is key to the success of agile projects. Communication is less formal. You don't need to wait to communicate through a document only. So you are continuously in discussion with stakeholder. See, it's not like you have to send it by formal letter kind of thing. So communication is less formal. Now, business analysis deliverables are often interactions and collaboration with stakeholder. You are in continuous discussion with the stakeholder so that things will come up fast. Suppose you are doing interior design and your customer never comes. Only after you complete, customer comes. Then you will see that fellow will see lot of surprises, and you will have lot of surprises. Suppose if the customer is available every day, you are able to discuss any problem quickly, and even customer is able to suggest things quickly. So then based on that, you are evolving. So now if you are doing that collaboratively, that process is called agile. Lightweight documentation. You don't do too much of documentation for this. As you go along, as per the need, you document. So for business analysis, planning, and monitoring, BABOK techniques are stakeholder list, map or personas, metrics and key performance indicators, scope modeling, collaborative games, backlog management, user stories, estimation, prioritization, workshop, mind mapping. Similar agile techniques are lightweight documentation, personas. Personas is one word, I hope you understand. Relative estimation, Moscow prioritization, retrospective. These are agile techniques which will map to BABOK techniques for this business analysis, planning, and monitoring. Second knowledge area is elicitation and collaboration. For that, what are the tasks? Prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, confirm elicitation results, communicate business analysis information, manage stakeholder collaboration. Now, the objective of this is minimize the time between elaboration of needs and their implementation, and progressive elicitation of backlog. So when you are trying to get these requirements, you're doing initially it's not like elaborate requirements are documented, but you're trying to do this, minimize the time between elaboration of needs and their implementation, and progressive elicitation of backlog. So you need to have that in mind. Keep the stakeholder you are continuously in discussion with communication with stakeholder, so that as the needs come, every time you take the backlog, you will elaborate those needs quickly and without losing much time, and then you develop it also. Develop it because you are continuously in communication with the stakeholder. So these are the tasks performed: prepare for elicitation, conduct elicitation, confirm elicitation results, communicate business analysis information, and manage stakeholder collaboration. Progressive elicitation and elaboration of backlog items throughout the Agile initiative. That's what you look at. And what are the techniques for elicitation and collaboration? From BA Bach gives these techniques: brainstorming, workshops, prototyping, interface analysis, non-functional requirement analysis, acceptance and evaluation criteria, use cases and scenarios, user stories, collaborative games, backlog management, concept modeling, process modeling, scope modeling, mind mapping, reviews, stakeholder list, map, or personas. So parallel agile techniques are lightweight documentation, personas, storyboarding, story mapping, behavior-driven development. Behavior-driven development means depending upon the stakeholders' requirements, stakeholders' behavior, you will have the development. If stakeholder has got a lot of requirements and stakeholder does not want to pay anything, so you have to plan accordingly. You cannot keep on developing without getting compensated adequately. So that is also important. You are with me, Ifi?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now the third knowledge area is requirement lifecycle management. For this, the tasks are trace requirements, maintain requirements, prioritize requirements, assess requirements changes, approve requirements. So now that establishes a cohesive relationship between related requirements and design. So requirements lifecycle, when you are looking at and you are doing agile methodology of doing these tasks, then you are looking at understanding which dependency of between the requirements, and you are able to prepare, design that requirement, ensure that from start to the end you are able to track. So here cohesive relationship between related requirements and design, that also you look at it when you are taking up all these tasks. So requirement lifecycle basically means you from the start of the requirement till the end completion of the requirement and customer acceptance, you are tracking that. So for that, trace requirements, maintain requirements, prioritize requirements, assess the requirement changes, and approve requirements are the tasks that you perform. So you are trying to ensure cohesive relationship between related requirements and the design. Now for this, expectation is that design will evolve as need changes. So every time, because agile methodology, it is not rigid. So as need evolves, design also should be flexible enough to accept the changes. Features will be prioritized based on the value. Build a solution incrementally. You don't build entire solution once, you keep building the solution incrementally. Validate evolving solution with the stakeholder at the end of every iteration. It is like so if you have got multiple rooms, you're doing one by one. Suppose you completed your bedrooms first, so you see how things have happened. So based on that, you progress. So whether the wood is wood used or whatever lighting that you are using, everything is going correct or not, you look at it, and based on that, you keep progressively developing. The stakeholder should be involved at a very thing, validate evolving solution with the stakeholder. At the end of every iteration, you validate it. If customer is happy or not, if you have to make some changes, you have to do all that. Now for this, what are BA Bach techniques? Acceptance and evaluation criteria, collaborative games, backlog management, prioritization, review workshop. Agile techniques, Kano analysis, I have already explained. Masco prioritization, story decomposition, story mapping. All these techniques you use for requirement lifecycle management. Now for strategy analysis, business analyst performs the analyze current state, define future state, assess risks, define change strategy. These are the tasks business analyst performs. That is, this identifies a need of strategic or tactical importance, enables the enterprise to address that need and align it for the change. So you need to understand what is the strategic need, and you align your entire development to address that. Your solution should be addressing the need, strategic need of the customer. So for this, ensure that the solution after every iteration continues to provide value. So like what I said, if you are doing interiors, go one by one, each room, how it is progressing, you are adding the value properly or not. And if any changes have to be incorporated, you should do that. Strategy analysis is used to define the product vision and roadmap. So when you are looking at strategy analysis, you look at what is the vision of stakeholder. So that is product vision, and what is the roadmap, how you want to do. So that entire planning, every time you complete something, you keep working with the stakeholder to ensure that how rest of the work has to be completed. Adaptive to changes in the organization goals. BA-BOT techniques, collaborative games, backlog management, business capability analysis, concept modeling, scope modeling, metrics and key performance indicators, brainstorming workshop. Agile techniques, Kano analysis, personas, purpose alignment model, real options, value stream analysis. Value stream analysis, I think I have told already, but anyway, I'll explain. Value stream is what you get all the processes which add value to the customer. Okay, so that if you are putting the progressive processes in a chain, that is called value stream. Are you there, Ify? You understand what is meant by value stream?
Yes, yes.
So the processes which add value to the customer. If some process is not adding value to the customer, you are in lean methodology, you reject that. So sometimes what happens, you will have unnecessary approvals required, which doesn't add value to the customer, which complicates the system. So in such case, you drop those processes. So whatever adds value to the customer, you keep them in the value chain or value stream. So that's how it is. Now, requirement analysis and design definition knowledge area. Business analyst performs specify and model requirements, verify requirements, validate requirements, define requirements architecture, define design options, analyze potential value, and recommend solution. And for this, the potential value of each solution option is what it gives end of it with requirement analysis and design in agile model. You will be able to provide potential value of each solution. Now, this requires a requirement analysis and design definition. Analysis and design are performed just in time. JIT means just in time. Analysis and design are performed just in time. Analysis is performed before iteration to provide enough information to estimate and plan the work. Analysis performed during iteration to provide enough information to construct the solution. Model analysis and design techniques are used informally. There is no form, I mean, like you don't go with creating all these, documenting all these things, getting approvals, all that will not be there. Because even if you get approval, it gets changed. So you go informally, then more formal thing. User story is the lowest level of decomposition. So what user wants. So you will have if you like we already told, user stories, multiple user stories make an episode. Multiple episodes make the entire requirement of the customer. So that's what you have episodes, and you have got user stories at epic episode user story. So that's how it works. Now, user story contains acceptance criteria to specify how the story should behave when it is implemented. So you need to have, for every user story, you need to have the acceptance criteria. User story is the lowest level of decomposition, that you need to remember. So how many user stories are there is what people would ask generally when you are looking at how many user stories. say this particular item should be here, this should have this color, all that. So everything is a user story. My wall should have light shades. So that's a user story. So validation of solution is performed at the end of every iteration. So this has requirement analysis and design definition has the following techniques. That is acceptance and evaluation criteria, collaborative games, business capability analysis, business rules analysis, interface analysis, process analysis, non-functional requirement analysis, concept modeling, scope modeling, process modeling, prioritization, workshop, use cases and scenarios, or personas we have discussed. User stories. User stories is what user tells the lowest requirement of user story. Agile techniques for this are Kano analysis, purpose of alignment model, requirement options, story decomposition, story elaboration, story mapping, storyboarding, value stream analysis, behavior-driven development documentation, and lightweight documentation, Moscow prioritization. Solution evaluation, this is the last knowledge area. For this, what are the tasks? Measure solution performance, analyze performance measures, assess solution limitations, assess enterprise limitations, recommend actions to increase solution value. This removal of barriers or constraint that prevent the full realization of the value is what you recommend out of this. Solution evaluation, when you do, you will look at what are the constraints that are there, how to remove those constraints to get the full value of the solution that you are providing. For this, continuously assess and evaluate the solution as it is incrementally built. Ensures the product meets expectations, identifies new opportunities to increase or add value to the business. So these are the factors that you need to consider when you are doing the solution evaluation. What are the techniques that you use for solution evaluation? Acceptance and evaluation criteria, business capability analysis, process analysis, metrics and key performance indicators, non-functional requirements analysis, prototyping, reviews, workshop, stakeholder list map or personas, use cases and scenarios, user stories. What are agile techniques? Personas, value streams. Now, overall, if you just listen to this, Agile, we are trying to put to business analysis knowledge areas. You are with me? We'll read these key takeaways. Ify, you are there?
Well, I'm here.
Yeah, Agile perspective for business analysis. That's what we are looking at. What we did so far is what different knowledge areas, how Agile perspective is there. So that's what we reviewed just now, all the knowledge areas. So just understand these key takeaways, that should be fine. Agile is a flexible mindset, embodying a set of values and principles and exhibited by a variety of complementary practices. Agile is a flexible mindset. Nothing is rigid. So that's how you look at how business analysis performs. The business analysts continuously reassess, adapt, and adjust their efforts and tactics. So as a business analyst, you should continuously adjust your efforts. Business analysis work is performed continuously throughout Agile initiative. See, as I said, if you are going for predictive, business analyst work is in the beginning. You document all the requirements, get the sign-off, and give it for development. But in Agile case, business analysis work should happen continuously. It is not one-time work. Okay? You're with me?
Yes.
Okay. Change is expected. So that is important. Change is expected. In the predictive or waterfall life cycle, change is not expected there. Waterfall life cycle, you expect once you have decided, you have to go according to that. But changes may come, but you are not expecting the changes to come. You are not welcoming the changes. But here, change is expected. Change is welcome in Agile methodology. And the Agile team delivers small incremental changes and is committed and it is committed to work items for only one iteration. So when you are doing, like what I said, interior designing, when you are doing one room, you focus on that room only and develop. You're not talking about entire thing and getting confused. So you take small packages and complete it. Like the software development also goes like that only. Iterative packages you pick up and do it. Now, agile approaches focus on people interaction, transparent communication, and ongoing delivery of valuable change to the stakeholders. So it is like continuous communication. It's not like you do something, keep quiet, you don't respond to customer, all that. So you talk to customer only once you are delivering. So in between you don't talk. It's not like that. You are continuously in touch with them, so that you are making the changes and you are trying to give the value to the customer. Business analysis, planning, and monitoring is continuous. Progressive illustration and elaboration occur throughout an agile initiative. The expectation is that need will change and design will evolve. So that is the idea. It's not like they are fixed. Validation of solution occurs at the end of every iteration in place of a formal requirements approval process. I have been telling about this. In case of waterfall methodology, you have formal requirement approval process. In this agile case, you don't go with formal approval process and all. Agile approaches are often used when there is uncertainty about needs. If the customer is not very clear about the requirements, then you should go for agile methodology only. If they are very clear, you go for waterfall methodology. That's how it is. Okay.
Okay.
Analysis and design are performed on a just-in-time basis. Evaluation of solution is on a continual basis to ensure the deliverable meets business and stakeholder needs. Okay, these are the key takeaways. Now we'll do tomorrow the case study, if possible tomorrow or later. We do this case study and quiz and complete that. We have one more topic to cover, which is called business intelligence perspective. So this one, business intelligence perspective, how business intelligence means how you give with the data, how you give reports and intelligence to stakeholders so that they can take decisions. So we'll take up this tomorrow. So once we complete this business intelligence, I think we are completing the entire syllabus for this. Maybe by tomorrow we'll complete this topic and do those case study. Day after tomorrow we can do case studies, whatever we have left out. So with that we'll complete this course. Okay, Ify. Thank you
Okay.
for your patience. Take care.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.